Revenge films.
I have a prosthetic leg. It happened 4 years after I got married. I drove drunk and hit a light post. My daughters were 3 and 0 at the time. My wife was in her late 20s. It was all my fault. Needless to say, both our parents yelled at me for weeks. But at least I didn't hurt anyone else, my dad said to me. They told me to get a divorce. I lost my job, so I was broke. I couldn't even walk by myself anymore. There was no way I could raise my children. And they were right to say so. I couldn't let my wife take care of our kids and a crippled husband. I just couldn't do it. My brother told me to hand over all the savings I had to her. I didn't even know what to think anymore. So I did. Then I signed the divorce papers, like they said. Afterwards, they all moved out and went to live with my ex-wife's parents. It was all gone. I was all alone in the house. I had lost everything. I lost a reason to live. But a month later, she came back with the kids. Turns out she never submitted the divorce papers. She used to be a housewife, but she landed a solid job in the past month. At first, I couldn't believe that they were back. I thought maybe she just forgot something at the house. But she looked at me and said,
"At least you're alive. We'll figure it out."
Both our parents were against this, but she came back anyways. I'm sure they tried to do everything they could to stop her. But she still came back. I didn't deserve her. I started crying. I've never cried in front of her before. I didn't cry when they told me to hand in the divorce papers, or to hand over all my savings. I didn't even cry when she left the house. I was so relieved. I couldn't stop crying. My wife worked hard and did everything around the house for me. I thought my life was over, but now everything was starting to look up. I couldn't take back what I did, but I did everything I could to help my wife out. Then I started studying to get a new job. I could still work as long as it was from home. A few months later, I finally landed a job and started working from home. My wife was so amazing. She never once complained about anything. I couldn't do anything around the house, and when I tried, I was really bad at it. I couldn't even look after the kids. But somehow, she did it all while having a full-time job. It couldn't have been easy. Even I knew that. But she didn't even complain about it. Not once. She said it was her decision to come back, and that she was ready for anything. She was so tough. I felt so grateful. 2 kids, work, housework, and a crippled husband. It wasn't smooth sailing for her, but she was always smiling. And seeing her like this helped me get my life back in order. We both worked hard. I started getting more work too. When I first started, I made less than half of what my wife was bringing home, but she was still grateful. She wasn't expecting me to work in the first place, so she was pretty surprised when I first showed her my paycheck.
You made all this in a month? That's amazing!
She was thinking about doing it all by herself, so this came as a surprise to her. After years of hard work, I was finally able to make more money than I used to. Our parents still complained about me from time to time, but when they found out that I was making good money and contributing to the family, they stopped. Life was good. Now that we had more time and money, we started going out more often as a family. I had to wear a prosthetic leg so we could only go to nearby parks at first. But after I got used to walking around, we started going on long vacations too. I thought my life was over when I got into that accident, but thanks to my wife, I was able to get my life back. Years later, it was almost our 25th anniversary. I realized I had to do something special for her. I did some research online. I decided to throw her a surprise wedding. We didn't throw a wedding when we first got married, so I thought she'd really like this. But I was just an old man. I needed help, so I decided to ask my daughters. One was already married, and the other was in college now. They were really excited about this, so we got to planning. I had the best daughters in the world, and it was all thanks to my wife. I was so grateful. They were so resourceful too. They gathered all kinds of information for me. They even found out my wife's dress size. I talked to our parents and told them about the surprise wedding. They were pretty old now, but they seemed really excited. I wanted to keep it a secret until the very last minute, but my daughters disagreed.
You know how Mom is. She always likes to be prepared.
She was right. So I decided to tell her a month before. It was for the best. And so, we all got together and told her. Man, the look on her face when we told her was priceless. She was really excited about our wedding. My older daughter helped her get ready on our big day. And everyone else seemed really happy for us too. I put them through a lot, so I was just glad to see them smiling like that. During the ceremony, I wrote a letter to my wife for the first time in my life. It took me forever to write it. I told her that I loved her, that I needed her, and that I didn't deserve her. But it was kinda embarrassing to read it out loud in front of everyone. When I finished reading, she started crying. I wasn't the best writer, but I guess she got my message. Then, seeing her cry made me cry too. Everything that happened to us, it just came flashing back. I couldn't hold it in. Then, everyone started crying. It took a long time to plan this, but I was just so glad that I did it. And it's all thanks to my wife. She could have just left me, but didn't. She saved my life. Literally. I don't even want to think what my life would be like if she had left me. On our wedding day, our older daughter surprised us by telling us that she was pregnant.
I'm gonna be a grandma? I feel so old,
said my wife, but she seemed really happy. She bragged about it to her friends all the time, and she went to the store to get things for the baby almost every day. Seeing her smile made me so happy. Her smile meant everything to me. I loved her so very much. Thanks for everything, babe.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.